Greetings! Now you will find out how the digestion process in our organism takes place. The process of digestion begins in the oral cavity. In the oral cavity, food is crushed and processed by saliva. Saliva moistens food, and its enzyme amylase breaks down carbohydrates and starch into components. Amylase is active in an alkaline medium. Therefore, saliva has an alkaline reaction. Food is rubbed and crushed by teeth during chewing. This is done by the mass-eater muscles. After chewing and mixing with the help of the tongue, the food turns into a food lump. After that, swallowing occurs. These are reflex movements of the muscles in the oral cavity, pharynx, and esophagus. Swallowing ensures the movement of food from the oral cavity to the stomach. In the stomach, food is processed by gastric juice, a liquid secreted by the glands of the stomach. While the gastric juice only seeps the food, inside the food lump, the environment remains alkaline, so the splitting of the carbohydrates by the salivary enzymes amylase and maltase continues there for some time. Smooth muscles in the walls of the stomach slowly contract and transport its contents. Partially digested food is moved to the intestines in portions through the ring muscle, the sphincter, which periodically opens. The speed of digestion in the stomach depends on the composition of the food. Fatty food is digested for the longest time, up to 8 hours, carbohydrates up to 4 hours, and liquids are almost not delayed. The walls of the alimentary canal consist of 3 main layers. The inner mucus layer contains glands that produce mucus and enzymes. The middle layer is formed by smooth muscle tissue. It ensures the mixing and advancement of food. The outer shell of connective tissue covers organs and contains vessels and nerve cells. The contraction of the muscles of the esophagus and the intestines creates waves in the gastrointestinal tract, which move chyme down to the alimentary tract. This is called peristalsis. In the process of peristalsis, a narrowing of the channel is formed above the chyme, and an expansion is formed below, which ensures advancement. In the small intestine, the breakdown of substances is completed and the absorption of the products of breakdowns occur. Juice from the pancreas and bile from the liver enter the small intestine through the duodenum. Also, many enzymes and mucus are secreted by the glands of the mucous membrane of the intestine itself. Altogether, this forms intestinal juice, which contains up to 20 different enzymes and has an alkaline reaction. Walls of the small intestine have many folds covered with villi. Blood and lymphatic capillaries are located inside the villi, which are separated from the intestinal cavity by only 2 layers of cells. These cells transport the products of digestion in one direction, to the capillary. That is, suction occurs. In the large intestine, the following occurs: completion of digestion, absorption of substances which the body can still use, water absorption. In the large intestine, stool is also formed, which contains undigested food residues, exfoliated cells of the intestinal mucosa, mucus, pigments, and microorganisms.